Hello and welcome to the podcast, The Pocket Stylist. I'm Lisa Talbot, and today I'm not on my own. I am joined by a great friend of mine who I have to say we met initially in lockdown because I was looking for a makeup artist to write some content for me for my blog. And I have to say she is a lady who is always in my life now, and I've learnt an awful lot from her. So I'd love to introduce you to JoJo Hicks, who is a makeup artist, but I'm going to hand over to you, Jojo, to do your own introduction because I won't do it as well as you. So first of all, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It is lovely to see you face to face again, albeit on a screen. But introduce yourself to everybody. Tell everybody a little bit about you and your wonderful business.
Oh, wow, an amazing intro to my intro.
Your intro to your intro.
So I am very honoured to be here. So thanks for having me, first and foremost. I am JoJo Hicks. I'm a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for nearly 10 years now. And I teach makeup, and I also have a bridal makeup business. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I started a club called the Makeup Club around kind of just before lockdown kind of time. That's where I teach women to be confident with makeup, learn how to do makeup first and foremost, and just all things, chatting products and aging and styling and trends and all of that kind of good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be chatting a bit more about today.
Yeah, and Jojo, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think, and we've said this, you actually mentioned this before we kind of pressed the record button, styling and makeup are so similar because again, it's about getting to that point sometimes in life and things change. So, it might be from a wardrobe perspective, a lady has been at work, she started her own business. A lady has been made redundant and she's going to go and do something completely different. So the wardrobe needs to reflect that. And sometimes the makeup side of it becomes even more difficult, I think, especially as we get older, because life throws different curveballs at us, but there's so much kind of noise in the makeup industry, isn't there? There's amazing products, there's great brands, there's everything. But I think when you get to a certain age, it's a bit like, bit like their wardrobe. My makeup has been the same for X number of years. What do I do now? And it's a little bit maybe more easy with a wardrobe because you can take clothes out and you can replace them with a different color or something like that. But makeup is interesting. And I kind of think, well, and this is the question for you then. Do you think ladies over a certain age feel a bit lost with their makeup now, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm 37 and I'm having a lot of women that are approaching me that are kind of, I have some that are in their 20s, but more, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I've even put a model call out for a 70-year-old to come into the studio and have a look done. My thing was you must be over 70.
I
and
saw
had
that.
so many ladies come forwards. Because sometimes I think it gets a bit lost as you get older, and all of these makeup, and you must see it a lot with styling. The models are very young sometimes, makeup models, when you see Rimmel on the TV and all of those kind of things, very rarely would they have somebody who's of an older age. It's very much young skin. And I think as we get older, much like what you're saying with body shape and things like that, our face shape actually changes, our skull actually changes.
Yeah.
So our jaw becomes more angular, it comes forwards more, our eye sockets become rounder, and our nose cavity becomes wider. So our face shape actually changes from the skull, as well as I hear lots of people that come to me and say, oh, I've got wrinkles, I've got saggy skin, I've got jowls that are hanging. How can we fix this? My job isn't really to make you look 10 years younger. My job is to make you feel beautiful. And I think the first question to ask is, what makes you feel beautiful? Not as a generic question, but asking you, the listener, what makes you feel beautiful? Today I've put a bit of jewelry on, and I've put a bit of lipstick and eyebrows on, and that makes me feel great. And it's very much also about changing fashions, a little bit like what you do, Lisa. There's trends, there's fashions, there's colours, there's seasons. It's all quite overwhelming. And I think lots of people, as they get older, feel lost because they think, where should I fit into this society? What should I be wearing? I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a rule book thrower. And I always say, if you like it, shove it on and go out and have a nice day.
Yeah.
Even if it, to the book might not suit you. But, things change so much. I think that as you get older, that gets harder because in social media, on TV adverts, I think lots of things are styled on that kind of 20s age range almost, I feel. And I think people do feel lost. And I have women come to me and say, oh, I don't want to look, this is one that's very, very common. I don't want to look mutton dressed as lamb. I don't want to wear too much makeup. I don't want to look overdone. Fine, if that's how you feel. But if you like wearing lots of makeup, go for it. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that one.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because we everybody knows I'm 52, right? So and even makeup is not my bag at all. I trained in it, but it's not the thing that excites me. That's clothes and fashion and that type of thing. But I look at certain, I scroll through TikTok, for example, and I see some of these makeup brands that come up, and I think, oh, that's nice. But like you said, because it's being, I suppose, demonstrated by a younger girl, I think, hang on a minute, how's that going to work for my skin? Because I think as we get older, from the colours point of view that I work with, ladies lose the luminosity from their skin. So what we have always worn might not necessarily be always right. And I think that's when the minefield opens up, doesn't it? I think a lot of us, me included, where makeup's concerned, we think, oh, I'd love a change, but I don't know where to start. And I think, you could see Charlotte Tilbury doing a wonderful new foundation. You could see NARS doing one. You could see the dupe on Primark, all that type of thing. But it's where do we start? So from your expertise, do you see ladies in that position of they kind of want to make a change, but they don't know how to make a change? Does that make sense, that question?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that we always kind of default back to what we knew when we first started learning. So if you think about it, I'm of an era, I'm 37, I'm of an era where we had magazines. We had Ms. Magazine. Do you remember Ms. Magazine?
Yep. I'm older than you, but yeah.
So if I was to learn something new, I'd think, right, where did I learn it in the first place? Now, my era, learning it in the first place was in magazines and really copying other people, copying friends, copying cousins, sisters. I've got 2 older sisters. So you kind of default back and you think, well, where did I learn it? And then you think, well, hang on a minute, times have changed.
Yeah, but do you know, I'm just thinking before you carry on, you're talking learning, right? So if I look back when I was younger, so, to when my teens, for example, I'm going back to like the late 1980s, right? There was no social media. There was no tutorials. So actually there was no platform to learn. And I think if you're taking ladies of, say, mid 40s, late 40s, early 50s, there was no even platform to learn. So some of us didn't even learn. We didn't, do you know what I mean? So whereas now there are, and early, we'll go back a few years, there's the platforms that, YouTube, you can do tutorials, but a lot of us never even went through that learning phase.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. So when it comes to then bringing change in, when you default and think, hang on, where did I learn in the first place? When I liked it, when I liked my look when I was 20, all of those things have gone. All of those things aren't there anymore. And you're in a new era now where it's Instagram, it's social media. So you've got that added overwhelm, as well as, oh gosh, I have to go on, onto technology, online, which is fine if you are online savvy. But but I think that also, you know, adds to the overwhelm, and just having somewhere easy to go and learn makeup is really the key. I mean, have a think now, where did you learn makeup? And most people will come back to me with the answer of, well, I didn't really, I just
Yeah.
give it a go. And I
Yeah.
look back at pictures now, and you know, you see the tweezed eyebrows, the blue eyeshadow, which I've actually done a tutorial for on the Instagram page yesterday, and I loved it. um, but you know, there's so much overwhelm when you walk into a shop. So I think the struggle with the change is an overall overwhelm, rather
Yeah.
than, you know, just picking up something different and putting it on your face, you know. And what suited you when you were 20, you know, it might not be suiting you now. So it's really about stepping outside your comfort zone a little bit as well,
Yeah.
and being brave. And remember, anything you put on, like clothing, anything you put on your face, any
Come on.
makeup, take it off with a wipe. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world. But you do have to just be brave and kind of step out and think, do you know what, I'm going to whack on that red lipstick today and see what happens.
Yeah. Jojo, for the ladies that are listening,
Mm.
for those that are thinking, do you know what, she's right, I need to kind of put my brave pants on and give it a go. What would you suggest is the place to start? And I don't mean a location, I mean, is it getting the right base to start with, getting the right color match? Is it the right foundation? Is it a liquid foundation? Is it a powder foundation? Is it, where would you, if ladies are listening now and they're thinking, yeah, do you know what, I really would love to try this, where
Yeah.
do they start?
I think the best place to start is to sit down and, you know, for yourself, sit down and look at your makeup kit. Make sure that you have a good basic makeup kit. If you don't have a good basic makeup kit, or you don't have the budget to, you know, go and splurge out on makeup and stuff, then I would say to that person, think about, let's say if you were on a desert island, what would your 3 products be? So Lisa, what are your 3 products? What are your 3 things, if you were on a desert island, in your makeup kit, you'd want to take with you?
Okay, so I would take my foundation,
Yeah.
I would take my liquid eyeliner,
Yeah.
and I would take a lip gloss.
Okay, so those 3 things will have meanings behind them. Okay,
Yeah.
they have a meaning behind them. They make you more confident, because the
Yeah,
foundation,
yeah.
because the liquid eyeliner, because, so you don't have to talk about that, but they will have meaning behind them. So I would say those 3 things, make sure that you've got good quality products of those 3 things. Good quality products doesn't always mean the most expensive, let me just add. High street products are amazing now from what they used to be.
Yeah.
And learn how to put those 3 products on well. So it's not about getting 10 products and whacking them all on your face and trying to do everything well straight away. Those 3 products have meaning behind them, and usually it's because of something.
Yeah.
So mine would be foundation, because I suffer with acne and redness around my face, for example.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I would say to start.
And that's a really good, I love your terminology, whack it all on. Do you know what I mean? But it is, isn't it? You're absolutely right. When you're saying that, I'm thinking, oh my God, yeah, I wear liquid eyeliner, and I always have. When I don't on a weekend, for example, if I'm, you know, off doing a horse show with my daughter, I sometimes I don't, because I think, oh God, if I'm going to get dust in my eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel quite bare. It's really interesting. I feel a bit like part of me is missing. So that goes back to the whole feel. And you said this so many times in the previous probably 5 minutes. You said about how makeup makes you feel, and it gives you a feel good factor, and it's a feeling. And for me, clothes do the same. That 4-letter word is so important. You know, how does something make you feel? And that is huge. So would you, I mean, you've alluded to it anyway, but would you say that there's definitely, with makeup comes that, I don't want to use camouflage as the word, but do you know what I mean? It's almost like that protective barrier to the outside world. So therefore it can give you that real feel good factor and that kind of confidence and positive mindset.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, during lockdown, I did a lot of work in the makeup club with confidence without wearing makeup. I think lockdown, we all went through this thing. I'm not going to lie. I wore my dressing gown a lot. I wore no makeup a lot. I wore my slippers a lot. We all did it. Let's not pretend. So it was very much a side project that I had going on. And it was all about being confident without makeup as well as wearing makeup. But yes, going back to your question, there's definitely a feel-good factor with it. I think that it's important to think about the intent of why you're wearing it. And, are you wearing it for yourself to feel great? Are you wearing it because you feel you should wear it? So I think, kind of intention of why you're wearing it. Sometimes it's worth a little think of, what am I wearing today? Why am I wearing it? How does it make me feel? So, yeah.
Interesting. And I know you and I spoke about some of the questions we were going to talk about, because we've had it both from your clients and from mine. But I'm going to throw one at you now, and please don't panic. I'm going to sit there. Have you got, like, at the moment, obviously spring, summer. So we're moving from autumn, winter. We're moving into spring, summer. Have you seen, like, obviously from my perspective, we've got lots of colours coming out. We've got etc. Have you seen, like, different trends coming through for makeup? Or because sometimes it's quite that natural look, isn't it? Or is there a hero product that you're seeing at the moment that you would say, do you know what, this is a real product that I think people could benefit from? I'd love to be able to kind of finish the conversation with something that you recommend that could encapsulate everything, somebody trying something new, but a real recommendation that will see the ladies into spring, summer, but something that will help them feel good.
Yeah, I think that right now we're seeing lots of dewy skin, and I think because of dry winter skin,
yes,
that mood is kind of changing now. I see it as like a mood change, the seasons, rather than a seasonal color thing.
Yeah.
Which it is. But yeah, I think dewy skin is a big one at the minute if you're talking about trends. I think everybody wants that glowy, fresh, healthy looking skin after being in the depths of winter. I know it's been freezing recently. And everybody wants that healthy kind of glow from what we've kind of experienced the past few years. And, coming out of Christmas, where quite a few people have, had colds and things like that. I think everybody wants to get into this new year and kind of have a really fresh glow. So I think for now, the trends that I'm seeing very much is probably a fresh, dewy look. And also blusher is definitely back. It disappeared in the 90s for a bit. Disappeared.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's blusher. It's like it's such a wonderful product,
Rouge.
isn't it? Yeah, but it's rouge. It's, do you go cream? Do you go powdered? Where do you put it? Because placement, and listen, that's like I sound like I'm an expert, but placement when you get older is different to placement when you were younger. There is so much more you and I can talk about, but I think for today, and I think you alluded to about the dewy skin, I think definitely I would love you to come back and talk about skincare, because again, that's hugely important, I think, as for all of us at all ages. But I think it's really important as we get older. Interestingly, I have always cleansed, toned and moisturized since the age of about 20, and it is a routine I have done in the morning, in the evening. I've changed my products, but I think skincare again is so important, especially ladies who go through the menopause. Some come out more in outbreaks, so maybe that's for another day. But I would love, before we close this podcast today, I would love for you to share with the audience, whether they're on listening via their podcast or via YouTube, please share with them where they can find you, and also just a little bit about your makeup lessons, because I think it could be invaluable to some ladies.
Yeah, of course. So I do 2 different types of makeup lessons. I do a 1-to-1 in my little studio space in Thames Ditton in Surrey. And I also do an online course. I have a signature online course. And then I have a very, very exciting thing launching, which I can't reveal just yet, but it will be revealed this kind of spring summer. So the easiest way to find me is to go over to Instagram. The page is brand new. It's literally 2 days old.
Wow.
But the easiest way to find me, if you're on Instagram, is to search at the.makeup club. Or if you're on Facebook, just go to the top bar and search for the Makeup Club by JoJo, and everything will come up. That's a private group, and that one's been running since day dot. So that's kind of how to get hold of me and what I offer. And it's a large community. Everyone is really friendly. Everyone is in the same boat. So it's not a scary place at all. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
Oh, brilliant. And thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
podcast,
you.
because I think it's lovely to have a chat and, just for ladies to kind of listen as well about certain things. So definitely, please come back. We'll talk about skincare for sure,
Yeah,
because I
love
think
to.
that's another big one. But for now, thank you to everybody who has listened. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks, JoJo, ever so much. And we will see you all again next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye, JoJo.
Bye.